Hello, welcome back to my Astro workshop. My name's Roo. A few of you are probably very aware of the need to hold parts down in the milling machine or rotary tables or wherever, and are probably familiar with this device here, which is something that a number of people have made on YouTube, and a number of you I'm sure have made yourselves. I first saw it from, I think it was Tom Lipton that showed me one of these first, and not only can you very easily make one yourself, it's a sort of chunk of aluminium plate with a series of holes which are drilled and tapped, but you can also buy them. There are places that sell them, like John Saunders at CNC, NYC CNC. He makes and sells them, and he makes small ones, big ones. There are other companies that make fixture plates similar to these as well, but these are very simple to make in your home workshop, and very useful. And the nice thing about them is that if you want to hold small parts down, they're very quick and easy, and literally all you do is that you just clamp them into your vise on the lathe, and they're ready to go. And the way that you hold parts down and such like is typically using these using these sorts of small clamp like these. So if you wanted to, excuse me, I'm just picking up a bolt. If you wanted to hold down a small plate of material like this, you would go ahead and you would clamp it down, and using a bolt like this, and one of the screw holes, you would screw that in. You would put the clamp on there, set the height and everything, and hold that work down. Now that's great for when you're doing sort of milling and complicated work. It's worthwhile the effort of clamping it down. But one thing that I sometimes do is I might have to make a number of brackets, and those brackets are made out of thin sheet or similar sort of bent material, and all you really want to do is just drill some holes quite quickly. And it may be that you want some sort of fence to push the part up against, and then you can drill the hole. You also need a way of holding that down, and it's very dangerous, as you all know, to hold a piece of sheet material like this in your hand whilst you drill it. So it's nice to be able to clamp it down, but you don't really want to go through the hassle of having to clamp it down with these clamps every time that you want to drill a hole, if you've got loads to do. A couple of weeks ago I was at my auto jumble, and I came across some of these, which are toggle clamps. Now, toggle clamps come in all shapes and sizes. I've actually got some quite large ones which I used to use, and these were at the auto jumble. I've since looked at them on eBay, and seen that you can buy them for a quid or so each. They're very inexpensive. Let me just open this one up. This one's still in its packet, and these are I'm sure you're familiar with these things, but they're a very small clamp called a toggle clamp, which you can operate with a lever like this, and when you pull the lever down, they sort of clamp down, and there's a piece that's in the bag there which is a little foot with some adjusters and everything. So I thought, well, actually those will make a really good they'll make a really good accessory for the mini pallet, so that when you're doing sheet material, you've got a way of quickly clamping things down. So this video is a very quick video about knocking up a holder for those, so that they can be put onto the mini pallet, and just see what they look like and how they work. So over to the milling machine and we'll get cracking. Here we see me just cleaning up the end of the plate, just simply clamp that in the vice or recesses. A quick touch off and then a run. I'm only cutting in the conventional milling direction, so a bit of cut on again just to clean up that end. There's no dimensions there, I didn't measure it at all. I've just measured it very roughly, marked it with a Sharpie, sawed it, and then cleaned it up with the side of the mill in this way. So that's the one end done. Just clean off the chips and swap ends, and as the old saying goes, rinse and repeat. I just took a file to it at that point just to get rid of the burr, just so it sits fairly cleanly in the into the vice recesses. Just to make sure it's in properly, I give it a little tap with the old mallet. It doesn't really need that, to be honest. It's not dimensionally critical or squareness critical or anything. It's just really to make a neater edge of a sawn piece of aluminium, and the file would have probably been sufficient, but seeing as I've got a nice milling machine, I might as well have a nice milled finish. So again, touch off, put in the conventional direction. I think on this one I actually did put a cut on for the climb mill on the return, on this return climb mill, just to see what the finish was like. Obviously I'm not in any danger of pulling the work out of the vice or anything, climb milling in that direction, but we did give a nice finish. Again, just a quick titivate with a file, and on to the next procedure. So we're back in the mounted in the recesses of the vice. This is my edge finder. I'm just you'll see that it's now touching the edge, and at the point where it pops there, I just zero the dial. I just double check it just to make sure. I'm just flicking that out so you can see that it's centering. I'm just checking it, and yes, in fact, it was absolutely bang on zero. So move the edge finder to the other end. So what I've done now is just zero at that point. We go to the other end to repeat the same process for the other end, and this time when we pick up the zero, you'll see the I'm just knocking the edge finder out of whack there so that you can see that it's well out of position. It'll true up, and then it'll, as it pops, this time instead of pressing zero, my DRO has a function called midpoint. You can see there, midpoint, and I hit the axes, and it basically just divides by 2 the number that it's got. By moving to the zero position there, that puts you right in the middle. So once I was in the middle, just drilled the 2 M6 holes, one on either end. That was just spotting the hole so that the drill goes in accurately. Obviously, if you put a big M6 straight onto the flat metal, it tends to wander slightly, and you don't necessarily get it in the right place. And given that these 2 M6 holes, is me selecting the M6 drill, the M6 holes need to be pretty much in the right place, otherwise they won't line up with the holes in the mini pallet. And those are all pretty precisely drilled out at each centres. Simple drill, M6 hole there, wind 2 inches to the other end, drill M6 hole in there, just the same as the one I've just done. Nothing tricky about that, just a quick titibate with a now in this bit you're getting a sneak peek of the actual how it works. So what I decided to do is make the second one using the first unit to show you roughly how it works. So that's me just picking up the centre with the 4mm drill and then clamping it down using the actual clamp, and then drilling the M4 hole. So you can see exactly how it's designed to work. That clamp is actually stopping the part from moving around, and that's the hole done, and I repeated it for the other 4. So that's the first one made. I've bolted all these together. I just basically, as you can see, countersunk the bottoms of those holes, and I've used 4 countersunk M4s in there, which are tightened up on there. So that is on that plate. I mean, this is only for holding very lightweight material, so a piece of aluminium like this is absolutely ideal. And then I've got the 2 holes in there, so all I need now is a couple of M6s. I could position these wherever I fancy, and let me just screw that one down. So put that there in that way, just screw that down tight. So now the toggle clamp can be positioned very quickly anywhere on the mini pallet, as you can see, and then I can come along with my piece of material like this. I can position it, say I want it here. In fact, what's quite nice sometimes is when you've got a pop mark on a piece of metal like that, is to bring the drill down when it's loose. Just rest the drill on the centre pop and it will find its own centre, and then you literally that, and this is actually now rock solid. Obviously I can twist it because I've only got one on one end, but let me do it in the middle and I'll show you. Look at that, that's pretty solid. So the idea is I'm going to put I'm actually going to get another one, make another one of these with this one here, so that I'll be able to clamp it with 2 fingers if I need to. I think for like the sort of drilling I'm talking about, 1 clamp would probably be enough, and you could hold this end, but if you really wanted, you could put a clamp on this end as well, clamp it down, do the drilling, and there you go. So I think that's a success. It's a really good quick way of holding something down for when you're doing fast jobs. And bear in mind that you can then build fences, so by putting these screws, these holes are all pretty accurately positioned, and they're all in line with the edge of the mini pallet. So as long as you've got the mini pallet in the vise, and the vise is always, my vise is always usually trammed in, then these are parallel and or perpendicular to the axes of the mill. So by putting these studs in like this, this is now a fence which is parallel to the x-axis, so you can literally go in like that, clamp it down, and it's in exactly the same place every time. So if I were to come in with another part, I could put it into that corner there, push that down, and again the hole's going to be in the same place. So great for very quick fixturing and drilling of holes, or I mean, it wouldn't take any milling forces, but it's perfect for drilling. Okay guys, well, thank you very much for watching this very short video about making some toggle clamps for a mini pallet. If you haven't got a mini pallet, I suggest that you find a lump of aluminium and go make yourself one, because I use them all the time. They're great, really handy, and those toggle clamps will be a great addition to that, and I think make life a lot easier for fixturing small parts and for drilling and such like. But anyway, thanks a lot for visiting my channel, and if you like what you see, please click on the like button, which is always nice to see that you appreciate the things I do. Drop me a comment if you think there's an improvement, or I've done something wrong, or well, I'm always doing things wrong, but please drop me a comment, and if you like my videos, subscribe, and hope to see you on the next video at my Astro workshop. So thanks for watching, and see you on the next video.